32-year-old mentally challenged Charlie Gordon lives in New York City and works as a janitor in a private bakery where his uncle got him the job. Charlie attends a special school where his teacher, Alice Kinnian, teaches him to read and write. One day, Miss Kinnian brings him to Professor Nemours and Dr. Strauss. They conduct an experiment to increase intelligence and need a volunteer. Charlie has dreamed of becoming intelligent since childhood and eagerly agrees. Professor Strauss orders him to record his thoughts and feelings in the form of reports. In his initial reports, Charlie makes many mistakes. Charlie begins to undergo standard psychological tests, but he fails at everything. Gordon meets Algernon the mouse, who has already undergone the operation. They both run through the maze, but Algernon always finds the way faster. On March 7th, Charlie undergoes the operation. For a while, nothing happens. He continues to work at the bakery and no longer believes he will become intelligent. The bakery workers tease Charlie, but he doesn't understand and laughs along with those he considers friends. On March 29th, Charlie passes the maze faster than Algernon for the first time. On April 1st, the bakery workers decide to play a prank on Charlie and make him turn on the dough mixer. But Charlie succeeds, and the owner promotes him. Charlie begins to realize that to his friends, he's just a clown. He recalls the most hurtful incidents, becomes embittered, and stops trusting people. By the end of April, Charlie changes so much that the bakery workers start treating him suspiciously and hostilely. Charlie falls in love with his former teacher, Alice Kinnian. She's not as old as Charlie thought before. The thought of a relationship with a woman terrifies Charlie because his mother feared that he would harm his younger sister and instilled in his mind not to touch women. Charlie notices that the head baker is stealing from the owner. He warns him, threatening to tell the owner, and the theft stops, but the relationship is irreparably damaged. This is the first significant decision Charlie made independently. He learns to trust himself. He confesses his love to Alice, but she understands that the time for such a relationship has not yet come. The owner of the bakery, seeing that Charlie has changed and makes workers afraid of him, asks Charlie to leave. Charlie becomes increasingly intelligent. Soon, those around him stop understanding him. Alice feels like a complete fool next to him. Charlie distances himself from everyone he knew and immerses himself in his studies. On June 10th, Professor Nemours and Dr. Strauss fly to a medical symposium in Chicago with the main exhibits, Charlie and Mouse Algernon. On the plane, Charlie remembers how his mother unsuccessfully tried to cure him, to make him smarter. But she left him alone, giving birth again and proving she could have healthy children. Charlie, however, dreamed of becoming a normal person so that his mother would finally love him. At the symposium, Charlie discovers such extensive knowledge and high intelligence that professors and academics pale in comparison. At the presentation on the operation to increase intelligence, Charlie feels like a lab animal. In protest, he releases Algernon from his cage, then finds him first and flies home. Charlie rents a 4-room furnished apartment near the library. In one of the rooms, he sets up a 3-dimensional maze for Algernon. Charlie doesn't even inform Alice Kinnian about his whereabouts. To rid himself of loneliness and to reassure himself of his ability to be with a woman, Charlie enters into a relationship with his neighbor. The old Charlie doesn't interfere with the relationship because this woman is indifferent to him. He simply observes from the sidelines. Charlie finds his father, who divorced his wife and opened a barbershop in a poor neighborhood. He doesn't recognize his son, and Charlie doesn't dare to reveal himself. Charlie discovers that when heavily intoxicated, he turns into a mentally challenged version of himself. Alcohol unleashes his subconscious, which has not caught up with his rapidly increasing IQ. One day he sees a mentally challenged waiter dropping a tray with plates, and the customers begin to mock him. This prompts Charlie to continue his scientific work to benefit such people. He starts working in the laboratory. Algernon begins to have strange fits of aggression. Sometimes he cannot navigate his maze and Charlie takes the mouse to the laboratory. He asks Professor Nemours what they were planning to do with him in case of failure. It turns out that Charlie was destined for the social school and the Warren home. He visits this institution to know what awaits him. Algernon's condition worsens, and he refuses food. Meanwhile, Charlie reaches the peak of his mental activity. On August 26, Gordon finds an error in Professor Nemours' calculations. Charlie realizes that soon he will experience mental regression, just like Algernon. On September 15, Algernon dies. Charlie buries him in the backyard. On September 22, Gordon visits his mother and sister. He discovers that his mother has senile dementia. His sister struggles with her, grateful that Charlie found them. He promises to help them as long as he can. Gordon's IQ rapidly decreases, and he becomes forgetful. Books he once loved are now incomprehensible to him. Alice comes to Gordon. This time the old Charlie does not hinder their love. She stays for a few weeks, taking care of Charlie. Soon he drives Alice away. She reminds him of abilities that cannot be regained. In the reports that Charlie still writes, more and more mistakes appear. Eventually, they become the same as before the operation. On November 20th, Charlie returns to the bakery. The workers who used to ridicule him now take care of and protect him. However, Charlie still remembers that he was once intelligent. He does not want pity and heads to the Warren home. He writes a farewell letter to Alice, asking her to put flowers on Algernon's grave.